All right, so there we go. Okay, so we're up. We're back up. Now I got to find out if my panel's alive. Uh, hi, Jamie. Hi, how are you? Hi, sweetie. How are you? I can hear you now. I unmuted you. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Just
Okay.
chilling.
So Hugo is. All these people are frozen.
Everything looks the same.
All right, should I hang up on all of them? I think I'm going to hang up on all of them, and then they'll have to log back in.
Okay, yeah. If they can hear, they could probably hear us. If they're, well, I don't know if they can or not, but
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm gonna hang up on all you guys because all you guys are videos frozen.
yeah.
And
yeah.
we're gonna just try this again. We're gonna forge through it because I want to have this damn discussion, and I
That's
really want to
right.
do this. Get off of me, cat, please. Ow.
Devil is.
The devil's really bad. All right, I'm gonna hang up on some people.
Oh,
All right, so we're gonna hang up on. Oh, hang up on Hugo. I'm so sorry. Okay, hang up on Hugo. I'm not recognized as the director. I can't hang up on people. Oh, this whole thing has gone south. I might lose you, Jamie. If I do log in, I'm going to refresh this whole dang screen. Okay? Oops, she can't hear me. Okay, all right, I'm going to refresh and see what happens. Okay, I got Ben back, right? Yeah, Ben, I got Ben. I get Ben, are you there? Ben, you guys there?
I see him.
Oh Lord. And of course, ever faithful Jamie's still there. All right, Jeff is back. Jeff, are you there? Okay. Oh, okay. Hey, damn it. My mute was on this time. Shit. Okay, now you guys can hear me, right? All right, we're getting back. We're getting the gang. We're getting the band back together.
You need a bigger boat.
We need a bigger boat. Okay, so now, oh my God, now we've got these problems again where we have two people on, Jeff's on, and now we have no video, no audio on two other people again. Oh, I hate this. I hate my life right now. I hate my life right now. Okay, okay, and then, all right, can you hear me now? Now you can hear me. Jeff can hear me. All right, I can see two of you I still can't see. I can see Jeff. I can see Jamie, and I can see Jeffy, and I can't see the other two guys. I'm so sorry. You know what?
They're coming on.
We had Richard and Ben in here a second ago, and they thought they couldn't hear me because my mute was on, and so they logged off, and now they're gone, and I can't see them anymore, and Hugo's gone, and the whole thing's just gone to shit. I just want to cry. It was I knew it was just going too damn good, right? Let me see. Unmute. Talk to me.
Yeah.
Okay, Jeff, I can hear you there, and I can hear you.
I can hear you now. I
Good.
can see you.
Good.
I've been waving at you like for the past 2 hours.
I
and
know.
you're, like, Completely ignoring me.
Yeah, well, because I got so many mutes on this thing. All right. Unmute. I need to me muted. All right, I still have two people that I cannot see, and that's probably, unfortunately, Hugo and probably Ben and Richard.
It was an interesting clip, I have to admit. It was good. There was a couple of things that, I took notes, and
Right.
There's actually a couple of questions that I want to hit upon because something that wasn't brought up, and I feel as though it is crucial that it is brought up.
Right.
But we'll talk about that once we get everybody up and all that.
Well, I mean,
I don't want to be the first one to start off or anything. So.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter at this point. We're streaming again. We're waiting for people to fill back up and come back in the chat because the whole thing dumped, you know.
No,
And
yeah,
so,
I got you.
We might
Yeah,
as
I
well
did
fill
take
the
a
time
couple.
while these other guys are trying to, chuckleheads are trying to get back in. Oh, did I call the guy who made the director the film a chucklehead? I don't mean Hugo. Hugo is not a chucklehead. Just
Well,
my
neither is
crew are
Ben.
chuckleheads, right?
Yeah, I'm the.
I don't want to insult our
Oh.
guest.
And just so everybody knows, this is my voter
Oh,
registration
wow,
card.
this is a miracle.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
Uh-huh. That's mine, see?
Excellent. I got to make sure, I got to go down to the town office and make sure that we are registered. I don't know if we have to register every year. We probably do.
Register to vote.
Yeah, register to vote. Okay, we
Every
got,
year?
all right, we got,
Ben's back.
yeah, Ben's back. Yep.
Yay.
Can you hear me? Oh, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm not hearing Ben.
Son of
Tim,
a
are you still in
bitch.
Maine?
Yes, what?
Are you still in Maine? You said you were going to Florida. I don't know if you're already there.
Oh, I
Yeah,
heard
no. What we're doing is we're probably gonna. We've been thinking about it, and we're talking about it in the live stream. Yeah, I still can't hear you guys over there, Richard or Ben. Damn it, I can see you, but I can't hear you. But we're gonna have to back up and go back. The live stream froze up, and we're gonna have to probably watch the second. We'll go back until what was the last time when the stream froze? Does anybody know out there? Talk to me in the chat. And let me know about where it was so I can back it up so we can see the rest of the movie.
I want to say it was towards the end.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was pretty close to the end, I think.
Yeah. He was already listing solutions. He was on number 5.
Yeah,
if I'm
yeah.
not mistaken.
Yep. And I wanted to ask him a question about this number 5, the ROV, and what he was talking about there as far as the voter ID was concerned, right? Because that whole voter ID thing is like, I think he was talking about.
You're gonna put the live stream back up on X?
What do you mean? And put the live stream back up on X?
Yeah, it is up. I'm watching you now. I'm on X watching you.
Oh, he's
I'm
on
flipping
X.
back and
Jeff is
forth.
on X. It is on up on X. Jeff says he
I'm
is,
flipping
and I
back
got
and forth.
YouTube. I
Yeah,
got
no, they came in on a different link.
Waz is in the house on X.
He is?
Okay, Jeremy's here. Barely hear me either. What's with the? Oh, I know what's going on. Hang on.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah,
Yay.
I got you over on the left here on X, and then I got the video on the right.
Now you can hear me.
watching.
Now I'm absolutely sure
Oh
you
yeah,
can hear me.
you're
now.
you're crisp now.
Yeah, okay. This stupid software that we've got, this Video Ninja, has an audio gain control. And it goes into Windows and turns down the microphone volume down to 81% all the time. As soon as I get up on it, go like this accidentally, then it automatically turns it down because it doesn't want
Hey, bring it
clipping.
down.
Yeah, so it should be a lot better. Okay, good. Waz says it's better.
It goes into Windows and turns down the microphone volume.
Yeah, you're okay. You're echoed.
All right, so still, unfortunately, we don't have Hugo here, which really kind of bums me out. He was the most important guy in the room, right? And so we don't have Hugo. Let me see if Ben's in the house. We can't hear Ben. Ben was in the house. But anyway, yeah, you know, one of the things that was interesting is, and I agreed with everything that I saw in there, I wanted to ask him about manufacturing consent. All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
All right, what
So-
about Ben and Richard?
I can hear you good. Can you hear me?
Oh, God, finally we got you.
Happy
I
birthday,
hear 'em.
Ben.
Okay, all right. So
I heard a
anyway,
voice out in the ethers.
yeah, and then Hugo's going to keep trying to jump in, and if he doesn't make it, man, we're going to have him back on the show, and we're just going to forge forward because this is the cutting edge of the future, guys. This is as I couldn't help but think about as we were watching this thing. He was talking about censorship, and he was talking about manufacturing consent, right? And I don't know if you ever heard of a guy named Noam Chomsky, guys. And let me see, everybody. I think I've got everybody unmuted. So yeah, if you want to talk and jump in, and we just start talking about this stuff. And if we happen to get Hugo back, that'll be great. And if you want to, I don't know. Do you want me to go back and look at the end of the video, or you want to just start talking about it? What do you want to do?
Well, we should finish it.
Let's finish it.
You
Why-
want to finish up that last 2 minutes?
Okay, boy, we got a wicked echo on somebody.
Sorry, I don't think it's me.
Okay, all right. Well, let's see. Let's go back. Let's watch this. Let's watch the video. All right, I'm gonna mute everybody on this end for a minute, guys, so that we can watch the rest of the video, and I'll bring you back online. 1, 2, 3. Goodbye. Hushy, hushy. Okay, back to here. We'll do this. Boy, this is really testing my patience today. Back to the video. Here's where he was. Let's pull that back up and back it up a little bit. All right, let's go back to the 5 solutions right here where he's got
everyone
these.
in America.
Okay, 3, 4, 5. All right, let's just pick up at Chucky right here.
Or the public trust is for our elected officials to show us they can be trusted.
Oh,
I
boy.
want to tell you, Gorsuch. I want to tell you, Kavanaugh.
Oh, yeah.
You have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
Congressman, before we go any farther, because I want to draw a distinction, since
Trusted,
we've been
huh?
saying here that some of the facts can get muddled here in the president's language. I want to make sure we're being precise in our conversation. Can you agree that there has been no evidence of collusion, coordination, or conspiracy that has been presented thus far between the Trump campaign and Russia?
No, I don't agree with that at all. I think there's plenty of evidence of collusion or conspiracy.
It's in plain sight.
These lies, these threats, come directly out of the Marxist political warfare playbook.
Did you?
To make matters worse, this representative perpetuated these lies while he was chair of the
Oh, I
House
didn't
Intel
update it.
Committee and consistently implied, if not outright stated, that he had inside information. In that capacity, he lied about how the FBI and DOJ obtained and renewed a FISA warrant. The FBI and DOJ officials did not omit material information from the FISA warrant.
Thank
How
you
the
for showing
DOJ
me
used the Steele
my
dossier,
love.
what was
the
collected via
volume?
the FISA
Did
warrant,
you check
the
the volume?
FBI's vetting process for the Steele dossier,
Volume's
that
done.
he had an alleged smoking gun showing that President Trump colluded with Russia. And if each of these claims has proven to be false. But the lies have continued. In fact, they have become compulsive, and they continue right through to this very day. The lies weaken this body, and if left unchecked, threaten the rule of law, our election integrity, and the civil rights of his targets.
I love her.
The words and actions of this member were dangerous and untrue, knowingly untrue.
As an added note, my team and I at EPAC reverse engineered January 6th. Cut out all the noise. Make no mistake, January 6th, 2021 was a Marxist tactical operation. A breach of the Capitol on that day was the only way to keep President Trump's objection to the electoral vote count from succeeding. The Marxist machine had 2 months to design a coordinated production, a tactical operation.
I believe
Question.
that.
What would have happened if the breach never occurred? Trump had the 10 votes to call for an audit and an investigation. If no one breached the Capitol, our nation's landscape would be completely different today.
We got
The
suckered.
Marxist machine knew exactly what they had to do. Pay very close attention to the next 12 to 14 months. The United Nations has aligned itself with the current Biden administration for its SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. Under the guise of a natural disaster, the Marxist machine in this country is going to attempt to usher in a new, more modern, centralized system of government controls and regulations and take ownership of this nation to calculate and control all outcomes and ration out the nation's resources. We are witnessing a global struggle for the balance of power.
A radically new kind of computer may change civilization as we know it.
We're looking at a race between China, between IBM, Google, Microsoft, Honeywell, because the nation or company that does this will rule the world economy.
The Marxist machine in this country wants to secure our future. They want to build us a wonderful utopia. Everyone in America will reap the benefits of the wealthiest nation on earth. However, with all those wonderful benefits and security comes a price. At this point, the American people are past the fear of COVID. They're wide awake now. They're angry. The Marxist machine this day has been put on notice. The people will be the deciding factor going forward. The next 12 months will define this nation. Will it be the America we love? Or will it be the America the Marxists want? The United States Socialist Republic.
Wow.
It's a time of choosing while we still have the ability. We can win this war. With citizenship comes responsibility. It's up to us now. It's up to us to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. And Joe, in case you're listening, you made the statement, no one can define for you what an American is. That's us, Joe. That's us. You and me and we. Joe, we are citizens of this great nation. We're Americans, Joe. When America called, we showed up. We have spilled our blood to preserve and protect this great country over the years. That's who we are, Joe. We're Americans.
We gathered together at a moment of great division, at a moment of great passion. We have seen, and no doubt will continue to see, a great deal of moralizing from both sides of the aisle. But I would urge to both sides perhaps a bit less certitude and a bit more recognition that we are gathered at a time when democracy is in crisis. Recent polling shows that 39% of Americans believe the election that just occurred, quote, was rigged. You may not agree with that assessment, but it is nonetheless a reality for nearly half the country. I understand your concerns, but I urge you to pause and think. What does it say to the nearly half the country that believes this election was rigged if we vote not even to consider the claims of illegality and fraud in this election? And I believe there's a better way. The leaders just spoke about setting aside the election. Let me be clear, I am not arguing for setting aside the result of this election. All of us are faced with two choices, both of which are lousy. One choice is vote against the objection. And tens of millions of Americans will see a vote against the objection as a statement that voter fraud doesn't matter, isn't real, and shouldn't be taken seriously. And a great many of us don't believe that. On the other hand, most, if not all of us, believe we should not set aside the results of an election just because our candidate may not have prevailed. And so I endeavored to look for door number 3, a third option, and for that I looked to history, to the precedent of the 1876 election, the Hayes-Tilden election, where this Congress appointed an electoral commission to examine claims of voter fraud. 5 House members, 5 senators, 5 Supreme Court justices examined the evidence and rendered a judgment. And what I would urge of this body is that we do the same. That we appoint an electoral commission to conduct a 10-day emergency audit, consider the evidence, and resolve the claims. For those on the Democratic aisle who say there is no evidence, they've been rejected, then you should rest in comfort. If that's the case, an electoral commission would reject those claims. But for those who respect the voters, simply telling the voters, go jump in a lake, the fact that you have deep concerns is of no moment to us. That jeopardizes, I believe, the legitimacy of this and subsequent elections.
Yeah, that kind of pissed me off,
The Constitution gives to Congress the responsibility this day to count the votes. The framers knew what they were doing when they gave responsibilities to Congress. We have a responsibility, and I would urge that we follow the precedent of 1877. The Electoral Count Act explicitly allows objections such as this one for votes that were not regularly given. And let me be clear, this objection is for the state of Arizona, but it is broader than that. It is an objection for all 6 of the contested states to have a credible, objective, impartial body hear the evidence and make a conclusive determination. That would benefit both sides. That would improve legitimacy of this election. I would urge my colleagues, don't take perhaps the easy path, but instead act together, astonish the viewers, and act in a bipartisan sense to say we will have a credible and fair tribunal, consider the claims, consider the facts, consider the evidence, and make a conclusive determination whether and to what extent this election complied with the Constitution and with federal law.
In September of this year, 2024, the Biden administration and the United Nations are going to declare a global climate change emergency. Just go to preservingamericaepac.com, click on the header, Know Your Rights. We're going to give you the information to preserve and protect your liberties, know your rights, and push back when they try to take ownership of this country. We can win this war. God bless all of you. God bless Americans. And God bless anybody who wants to be an American. And God bless the United States of America.
All right. Now is a time of choosing. Ronald Reagan. Well, bravo, Hugo Gerner, right? Definitely. I would say that was outstanding. Very, very exciting, yes. And so let's go back here and let's get our people going on and get some peeps in here to talk about this. Unfortunately, our main guest of honor is still not able to get in the room that I can see. We cannot see him, but I think he can probably hear us and see us, and I just want to lift him up to say what a fantastic job he did with that. I'm going to start unmuting all my panelists, and so I've got Jamie, our token female. We've got Jeff, our token hippie old guy down in Florida. Yeah. I unmuted myself. Wrong one. There we go. Sorry.
Is this the part that makes us authentic?
Okay. All right. So I think everybody's unmuted now. We got 4 people. We got 3 people plus me, and we're going to discuss this. And we have our new friend Ben, and it's his birthday, and he's 40. What? How old are you?
43, if my recollection's correct. Correct, yeah.
Ah, shit, man. It's all downhill from here, dude. Just trust me. Sure. But anyway, make the best of it. Do the best you can. I'm glad to have you here, and I hope that you consider this a birthday present. Have you ever been on a podcast before?
I definitely haven't. It's pretty amazing.
Cool. Well, good. I'm glad to have you here. You know, we popped Jamie's cherry the other day, right? She is a first timer on, so.
Happy birthday, Ben.
Thank you so much.
Happy birthday, Ben.
Thank you.
Ben, you look so much
I'm
younger
Papa, by
than
the
you're
way.
43. Yep.
If I'm anything like my father, it's going to catch me at 50. That's what I've been saying.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, look, I made it to 61. It can be done, right? So just hang in there, dude, man. Anyway, it's really good to have you, and glad to have you participate in this. And I think it's a really cool present that, Enquirer snuck up on you, man, got you hooked in. I'm glad we got your audio, and I definitely want to hear what you have to say about looking at that video. So, but I don't know. I mean, I don't care who wants to go first. I mean, let me talk, I guess, a little bit about that, and some of the things I wrote down. And we don't have a chance to ask questions, but we're going to have Hugo on, and he's going to be doing another documentary he's going to be dropping in September, right around the 7th, I think, is what they said. So we're going to have him back. We're going to do this again, and I might try another platform, but we got to get these technical things worked out because this is so much fun, right? Even with all the frustrations and all that kind of stuff, it's definitely badass, and I think we need to do this again. Because, yeah, this is where it's at, man. This is like, he talked about censorship, man. I feel like we're seriously in an information war, and Alex Jones nailed it years ago when he said InfoWars, right? He had it right, and just like he had most of everything, except for that one thing about Sandy Hook. He didn't get that one right. But anyway, it really kind of cost him. But maybe we can talk about that some other time. But I love this panel stuff. I'm really excited, and I'm happy to have everyone here. And everyone's got the chops to be here because you know what? It's just the common man that's losing his mind, common man and woman, okay, that are losing their mind, that just say, well, what can we do? What the hell are we going to do? So I was interested in having him on here to say, what can we do?
What about?
Sorry, go ahead. But some of the questions that I had were like, okay, well, he's got this event, right? I think we're past the demoralization phase, and we're in this phase where there's going to be an event. And then later on, he went to say something about there's going to be a global climate change emergency, right? And I'm wondering, what that triggering event is. But then I heard just the other day now that monkeypox, they're talking about lockdowns. Yep. This is just as of today, the World Health Organization. And I always thought that you got the monkeypox from the butt sex, right? But, by the way, my friend Mike Heath taught me that butt sex term. So you blame him for that. He's one of our other misfit crew members that have wandered into my orbit. But anyway, so anyway, the whole thing about this, both my kids are prodigal. This Marxist revolution for me was personal. It did separate and cleave me from my children, both of them. They both hate me. They both think I'm a real total prick, and they don't talk to us anymore, which is totally screwed up. So up to now, they've been executing this playbook pretty well, and I'm kind of really worried about these Dominion machines. No matter what happens, the ID, how are we going to be able to get people? We all know it's illegal, and the Democrats say, well, it's already illegal to vote in the national election, but they know there's no mechanism to stop people from voting. Again, it's on the honor system, and the honor system doesn't work worth a shit, right? It's not going to work. So, I had some questions about that. But I don't know. Somebody else chime in and let me know, what did you think of it? What were your thoughts about it? And what did it stimulate for you?
Jeff?
I'll take it.
All right, go ahead, Jeff.
All right. Well, for starters, I thought it was a great video. It kept me going. There was some, I agreed with just about everything he was saying. But I noticed that, and it seems as though everybody keeps dancing around the elephant in the room. When it comes to the education of our children, when it comes to indoctrination, and I noticed he was playing a lot on the Marxist part of it all, which is true. That's what's happening. It's a Marxist tactic, as from what I can see. But my question is who's playing who in this? Now, I could see that we're all being played. That's a given. But, and we all seem to gravitate towards the Marxist aspect of it. But yet, there's this country without a country, apparently, a bunch of people that call themselves Palestinians. And they're also involved in all of this. But yet, we're dancing around it. We seem to be dancing around the religion. Who's playing who? Is Marxism playing Islam? Or is Islam playing Marxism? Do you see what I'm saying? Understand where I'm coming from? Islam is what is embedding itself into our country. They're using Marxism as their tactic. At the same time, they're trying to push their ideology. They started using, and they probably invented the LGBTQ thing, okay, the Ligbit thing.
Yeah,
And
I think that in an answer to your question, Jeff, I just think that the answer to that is, or at least my opinion would be, that it's Marxism using the Islamists. Okay,
You think so?
I do.
it's
I think
reversed.
the Islamists are the tool of the Marxists and the communists.
I think it's because Islam's been around longer than Marxism has.
It
So,
has, but they're
to
not.
me,
they're not.
using
They're
it
not
as
as
a tool.
intelligent and they're not as savvy. Okay, and I'm sorry to say it, but you've got an
Yeah, it's a
entire
religion, or not a religion. That's a cult.
You got
But,
entire
you see what
groups
I'm
of
saying?
people. You got entire groups of people that are over there are totally inbred. Okay, the general
yeah,
intelligence
yeah.
quotients in that part of the nation, and most people don't want to ever talk about it, but they're just not that with it. So that's why I think why they're being used by the commies.
It's in my opinion with that it's more division, and it's that tactic of divide and conquer with the Marxists. So if you want to start pointing fingers at any particular faction of humanity, then just realize that you're absolutely playing into their game here.
Well, pointing fingers, they're pointing fingers at us. So I'm definitely starting to point fingers in their direction. I'm tired of them walking on me. I'm tired of them taking my Christianity and throwing it in my face and asking me, well, what about this and what about this and what about this? When we can't turn around and do the same thing to them. So I'm ready to start asking them questions about what is it what's their intention? What's the intention of them coming into our country? What do they want? Is it the Marxism? Is it everything that we have? Do they want to prosper too? This is the questions. These are the hard questions that need to be answered. And everybody's dancing around them.
Well,
But
I think
I'll
that
back off.
in general, I think in general, I mean, for me, I think what this is about, and the Marxist agenda is about destabilizing America from within, because we've caused ourselves to unleash from every single mooring our Christian underpinnings, our Constitution, everything, and then we've had all the institutions.
People are pulling them away from Christianity.
Right, but
They're pulling them away.
it has to do with the destruction, I think, and the pulling down of this country, because the hegemony of this country, because it's American exceptionalism that has been the one that stood in the way of globalism and the one world government, and this whole idea that the World Economic Forum and all this that they've been dreaming up, right? The Muhu-ha-ha-ha faction, right?
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
I think it's got to do with destabilizing. You've got to take down American hegemony, the exceptionalism and the power that we projected around the world.
Oh yeah,
and we've done that.
They used it against us. It's what is that called? Ego, second ego, or whatever. They use that stuff. It's like they're manipulating our congressmen, our people, the people that we elected, and we supposedly thought we elected.
Right.
They're infiltrating them. They're getting into their minds. They're saying, hey, let's do it this way. We got the money. We got the money. It's like, here's your money. They're the ones that got the money. They may be inbred, but they got money and they're pushing it.
Right.
And
But
they're
who's
buying our
funding them?
kids. It's a cult. That's exactly what they're doing. They're just trying to convert as many as they possibly can to their side.
Yeah.
They're destroying. They took Christianity out of the school. They took the Bible out of the school. It was Islam that did that. It wasn't Marxism. It wasn't the left. It was the left. But who's driving them? Who's playing the left? That's the thing.
Right. Right.
It's not Christianity that's doing it. It's a cult that's doing it.
Right.
Or a faith. They want to call themselves a faith. Then it's what it is. All right. It's a faith driving them. You've seen our Congress people. They knelt. All right. They knelt. Why did they kneel? They're supposedly Christians. Why would they kneel to Islam for Islam? Why? Just to show that they're the brotherhood? There's no brotherhood there. Islam has already told us this. There is no brotherhood with us. Okay, so that's it. So what we're trying to do seems to be like candy coating it and saying, well, and I agree, we need to fix what's here in the country right now. But with all the influx of all of these people, these beings, these men that are coming into our country, they are,
Yeah, are
of
you
another
listening to
faith.
the live stream over there on the end?
So
Okay.
I'll hand it off to somebody else. But
All right, good.
it's food for
All right,
thought.
well, let's
you know?
do that. And
We
then what
need
I'll
to
do
start
is plug
dealing
you
with
in and
this
let
a
you
little bit,
answer,
talking
you'll
about it a
go
little
to
bit
my
more,
stream, and we'll just do it that way.
other than just the
we'll do it
Marxism
manually.
that's going on in the country.
Okay, good.
They're being
There's
taken
a
over.
will, there's a way.
All right, good. All right, hey guys, I got Hugo on the phone, right? So we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way. I got him on the speaker. Hugo, if you're gonna be able to, I'm gonna get echo back through the phone. So if you could turn your audio down there as low as you can, then it's not. Yeah, that's real good. I think that's pretty good. All right. So now we've got a chat. And I'll just move the phone away until you start talking, and I'm not talking. I'll manage it in my hand. Okay, so we got people out here in the chat. Let me start with our panelists here. Let me ask Jamie. Do you have any particular questions have you written down for our guest Hugo, who's patched into the phone because we're having technical problems? And then he can hear that. You can hear your question, and when he starts talking, I'll put him up to the mic, and we'll make that work.
Sure. I have a question of, has he ever heard of the book The Fourth Turning by Neil Howe and William Strauss? And does he think that perhaps this could be MK Ultra on a mass scale? Maybe that's the mass formation psychosis that's occurring and causing all of this?
Okay, so first thing she wanted to know is about The Fourth Turning, and the book was by who again, dear?
Uh-oh.
What was the name of the authors of the book, The Fourth Turning?
I don't know if they're doctors, actually. Sorry, I think they have doctorates. But Neil Howe and William Strauss. The original book was written in the 90s, and then Neil Howe just released another book called The Fourth Turning is Here.
Okay, did you hear that? She's asking about the book about The Fourth Turning and written by Strauss, I guess, and somebody else. Are you familiar with that?
I've heard of The Fourth Turning, but I've never read it.
Okay, what was your second question about?
So when he is talking about the issues that are happening, he says, something about the lies. That's his first point. And I am questioning, does he think that this is perhaps MK Ultra on a mass scale that's causing the mass formation psychosis?
Oh, okay. She wants to know if you believe MK Ultra has anything to do with some of this mass psychosis nonsense that's going on in our society. What do you think?
Well, mass psychosis is part of it's the consequences of what is happening in this country. We see people. The psychosis comes from the effects of COVID and everybody being locked down. That is separate from the Marxist political warfare being waged on the country. COVID is something completely different. Here's the best way I can tell you, Jamie, and you seem a very intelligent lady. First thing I want to say to everybody, I want you to write this down right now. Reserving.
All right, hang on. Hey, man, you're gonna have to turn your speaker down while you're talking because we're getting a lot of echo. Okay, so go ahead and pick back up what you were saying.
Reserving?
EPAC.com. ReservingAmericaEPAC.com.
Okay. When you're hearing us through your speaker, what's happening is it's feeding back through the phone and then back through the speaker, and we're getting an echo. So if you can manually turn the volume up and down while you're speaking, so that you're not hearing us coming back through the phone. Can you do that? All right, I'm going to ask you a question now, Hugo. Have you ever heard of the Noam Chomsky and the movie or book Manufacturing Consent?
Yes.
What do you think of Noam Chomsky?
rather than go into this some long dissertation, he's a very intelligent man, but he's an ultra leftist. We can go. That's another discussion for another day. I don't. Obviously, he's a Marxist, but this is a longer discussion. What we need to concentrate on, and this is what I would like folks to do, is take down. In fact, what you can do, Tim, is send them or give them information about my website, and then contact me at Preserve. Well, you can put up there my email. Contact me directly. Then we can have a longer conversation on another day.
Right.
When we can get this up and running. That's no problem. But what we need to concentrate on right now is what is happening in America. Let me put it to you this way, and stay with me, folks. Manufacturing consent is very, very important, because the Marxists will put so much pressure on us from various different directions. That was what happened with COVID. The fear and the anxiety. What happened is that the powers or the government or the governors of the state utilized that fear and that lack of information that we had to get us to they basically manufactured consent. What they can do using that fear is say, okay, we're going to protect you. We're going to do this, this, and this for you, but you got to sign on to it. And with the fear that you've automatically signed on to it. I don't want to keep echoing this and stuff like this. We need to get this fixed out. But what we're seeing here is literally they're manufacturing your consent. And let me put it to you this way, very, very importantly. At the beginning of our nation, the Constitution says, we, the people of these United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure the domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and the most important part, the fifth part, secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Many, many people over the decades have paid the ultimate price for our safety and our welfare and to preserve and protect this country. They've literally turned over their lives and spent their blood. I will not rest until their blood is well spent. Go ahead. Were you going to say something, Tim?
Well, I think that I really appreciate your zeal. I appreciate everything you're doing, and I think that you're part of a movement that we're all, I think, feeling. And so we're all craving this desire to know what it is that we should do with this mess that we've got, I think, And I think that the two questions that I have here, one of the things you talked about at point number 5 was the ROV, and I'm not quite sure I completely understand that. I mean, I do understand voter ID, but I think you said something about September 2024, and that's coming up on us pretty quick, and I don't know how we're going to do something that quick to make sure that the illegals aren't voting in this process. And then I'm also concerned about the Dominion voting machines, because I believe those were invented originally and used over in Argentina and Venezuela, and we see how that's going over there, right? So I'm kind of curious about your take on those two things.
Dominion is a disguise. Don't worry about Dominion. Worry about how the elections have been gamed. ROV, hashtag ROV, is reclaim our voice. What has happened is, over the last 2 decades, the Marxist machine has gamed the system. There's going to be fraud here and there in various states and stuff like that, and that's since day one that's happened. But it won't change the outcome of a national election. The most important part is the national election, and In some cases, in a state or in a county, there will be fraud that may affect the local city councilman's election or something like that. But for well over a decade, the Marxist machine has been registering people at a clip unprecedented in U.S. history. And what has happened is that the scales have been tipped. We must reclaim our voice. I was in Washington, D.C. last February, just a few months ago, speaking with a gentleman named Hans Spakovsky. Hans is a leading authority in this nation on election fraud and election integrity. And basically, he and I agree. So, not so much fraud and rig as the system has been gamed. Right now, in let's say just California, how are the electoral votes determined to be turned over to whom? And I'm going to ask you that question, Tim. The electoral votes are turned over to whom?
I'm not quite sure that I understand what you're driving at here.
What I'm trying to do is basically, let me put it to you this way. The system's been gamed. How do I mean by gamed? There are more people going to vote Democrat in this country and control the electoral votes going to a particular candidate. In California, it's a blue state, right?
Yeah, right.
Why?
Well, it's all because pretty much it was originally the one that was flooded with all the illegal immigration, and the illegals are voting there, and that's what's tipped the whole thing. And it's also changed the electoral map because of it's based on population.
Right. Well, and to a certain extent, they gerrymander. But the way an electoral vote is determined is by the popular vote. Okay, an electoral college will the electoral's votes will be turned over to the person in that state. Let's say Biden or Trump. Okay, whoever gets the most popular vote will get the electoral votes. That's what Donald Trump was concerned about on January 6th, is that the system's been gamed, not so much been rigged. But more importantly, this is where the scales have been tipped. In more states, in fact, the best way I can tell you, more people are going to vote Democrat in the major populous states than Republicans. The presidency basically has been bought.
Wow, that's.
Are you staying with me?
Yeah, I'm with you, and it's so encouraging, though.
Well, listen what I'm saying. Now, here's the thing.
Well, it's been doing that for the past 40 years.
Chip Roy, I was in D.C. I gave them, in fact, it was about a year and a half ago, I was in D.C. In fact, it was not this last February, the February before, and I went to several congressmen's offices. I was on Senator Ted Cruz's campaign, and I told them the system's been gamed. That's what started Chip Roy's SAVE Act. Do you know what the SAVE Act is?
I don't.
The SAVE Act is Chip Roy's and Mike Lee's, Senator Mike Lee's.
Oh, the voter ID, is that the one?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Saving the voter ID.
Time, they've been registering people to vote, and they don't give a damn. They don't give a damn about your citizenship. Chip Roy, about 3 months ago, with a lady, they actually gave a press release on the steps of the Capitol. And they said, we are putting together the SAVE Act. A lady came on, and she said 30 million people in this country are voting in their elections that shouldn't be. The scales have been tipped so dramatically that the game is pretty much virtually over. What the SAVE Act will do is anybody registering now will have to prove that they are a citizenship.
Okay, so is that passed?
Hang on. What you have to do is re-register people to vote in every state. The voter rolls have to be cleaned out. There's nothing that will change the outcome. In 2020, Biden got 306 electoral votes, right?
It doesn't
I don't
matter
remember.
anymore.
But I mean,
Okay,
if the scales have been tipped, okay, and I mean, it's just they're going to. How are we going to get in such a short period of time prevent these people and get off this honor system where you just check a box and say I'm a citizen?
You can't.
Well, that's what Chip Roy and Mike Lee and Senator Mike Lee are trying to get done. But the voter rolls, this is the longer discussion, and I can do this if let's say Tuesday or Wednesday or Friday of next week we talk about this. I can come back in. I can show you how the system has been gamed and how we can fix it. Basically, we have to have a re-registration voter campaign of every state.
I'd say we just do that.
Re-register. And
mandatory re-register everybody right now. We just
you're a
started.
citizen, that will drop off 30 million unqualified people to vote that are Democrats. The Democrats have gamed the system, and that here's the thing I want to say.
I would say let's do it.
In this November, I'm going to make a prediction right now. The Democrats will vote for Kamala Harris. She'll get 278 electoral votes. Trump will get 262.
So you think Trump's going to lose?
Yep.
Oh, okay. We got a prediction. He thinks Trump's going to lose. And I got a kind of sick feeling in my stomach. But, to tell you the truth, I'm also not sure there's going to be an election.
Let's go put it this way. Trump's not going to lose.
Be an election, that's going to be really hard to stop. But in my documentary, I talk about here in September on the Summit of the Future.
All right, hold on a second, Hugo. I think Jeff wants to say something. He said Trump's not going to lose. Go ahead, say what you got to say for a second.
Yeah, like what he's saying. I know you were leading up to it. I can tell you were leading up to the fact that guess what? We're not going to have an election. Basically, that's what you're getting at, Hugo.
Well, he's saying Hugo's saying that he's going to lose.
The election is already corrupted. Our election process is already. Your solution, I agree with the solution. We should implement that and actually demand it be done now. We start now. Okay, you're not going to get and then up to election day. We'll probably have to cut off registration. But I see what you're saying. It's almost as though like what President Trump is saying. President Trump is saying.
Right.
Mass we're going to do a mass, deportation. Well, we might as well do a mass re-registration of all the people.
Yeah. Let me ask a question. Let me ask a question of Hugo. Where I cut your mic for a second just so I could jump in here. Where is the legislation that you were talking about with this SAVE Act, and is that going to be able to be implemented in such a short period of time, Hugo?
Put me on. Okay, that's passed in Congress, but it has to pass in the Senate. Here's the thing. I've already asked 6 congressmen and 6 senators to basically have a re-registration voter campaign across the country. Several states are going to go against that. But young Jeff there said, okay, he doesn't think there's going to be elections. I guarantee you there will be elections. However, imagine President Biden or any of these idiots that's trying to not have an election. They know that if they were to try to stop the elections, the pushback would literally light this country on fire. There will be elections, but all you got to do is game them. But more importantly, what I want to say is about September and the Summit of the Future. Jeff, and you got to remember when in COVID, President Trump shut down the country just for 2 weeks. That was reasonable. Everybody agreed. Yeah, that sounds good. See if we can drop the curve. Okay, that was great. State Governor Newsom and various other of these idiots shut down their state indefinitely. That violated the rights of every person in that state. They were banking on your fear and your lack of knowledge. Now, they have already trained that. They can see that it works. Now, in September, it's already been, actually, it was last year, that the United Nations has already unofficially declared a global climate change emergency, a natural disaster, or a crisis. The Biden administration, that's why Biden has got to stay in office. He said, well, I just won't run. But having said that, he is already, and I can show you, but obviously I can't show you on the screen, but there's Jeff and guys, there is what's called the Prepare Plan of Action. Prepare. Prepare. It is the Global Climate Change Emergency Climate Change Emergency Plan by the White House to sign on with the United Nations and take basically ownership. When they have a natural crisis or a natural disaster, the United States can, or the governor or the president, not the governor, the president of the United States can declare a global climate change emergency and federalize the United States. That's a power grab. I have all the documentation. If you go to the White House called Prepare, you can look it up. Let's do this next week, Tim. I'll show you the documentation. This is an attempt to grab power.
Sure it is, yeah.
Will it be successful? We don't know. But this is an attempt. And when they can do it, it is through policies that in the middle of the night, they implement it, and the next morning you go, wait a minute, what happened? Well, things have changed. If you think that's not the case,
Hold on. Jeff is spouting. Hang on, Jeff. I'm going to unmute Jeff for a minute. He's over there having a conniption. Go ahead, Jeff.
Might as well. I mean, they're already implementing it, so this average Joe here can't do anything about it. You know, we're talking, and I hear you. You're building me up. You're building me up. I feel it. Okay, but the problem is, what are we going to do? We can't go to Washington, D.C. and sit there and say, no, stop passing this. They're not listening to us. So all I'm hearing is an echo chamber here.
Hang on. Okay, listen, hang on. Stop. Hugo's having a conniption, and then I'm gonna come over to Ben because it's his damn birthday. Now, don't get all sweaty and shit on me, okay? I'm just going to ask you what the hell your take is on all this frickin' mess that we're talking about and kind of looking in your crystal ball of what you see is going to happen between now and Inauguration Day. That's what I want to know. And don't get too worried about all of this stuff because Hugo is very learned in this stuff. But, you know, man, I mean, he's shoveling stuff on us like a freight train over here, so... but anyway, I'm going to let Hugo back on because he wants to answer Jeff. So, Jeff, be patient. And I'm going to get you back on here, Jamie, too. So, just sit tight. All right, go ahead, Hugo.
To answer, there are solutions. I can actually show you how you can handcuff your congressman and your senators. It's very, very simple. I can't explain it to you over the phone. Jeff, what can we do? I guarantee you there is a way, and you have to catch them before they implement the policies. Once the policy's in place, you're going to have trouble reversing it. You would have to put through initiative. There is a way. You have 72 hours. Once they say, oh, we're going to shut down this, because I'm a former appointed public official. They have to ask us, hey, what do you guys think? If we push back and we say no, guess what? There's not a damn thing they can do. The point is, they count on you not making that reaction. And I can show you exactly how to handcuff your congressmen and senators where they can't do shit, they can't implement policies, and guess what? Your voice has been reclaimed.
Okay, all right. Now, I you know, that sounds fucking great. That sounds like a wet dream, Hugo, okay? But you know what? I kind of fucking feel like I'm waiting for, I'm going to want the receipts on that, right? I mean, you're going to email me shit, and we're going to send it out to this crew, and we're going to evaluate, and we're going to have you back on to talk about this because, man, I love the energy. I swear to God, man. And, you know, but I think that we're all of us feeling a little bit black-pilled. So let me bring Ben in on this, man. And tell me what the hell's, you know, your kind of take of the world, just being the average Joe you are at 43 years old, trying to get through this life with all the inflation and the world pressures and all this shit coming down on you. And, you know, I don't know shit from Shinola about who you are and what you do, but tell us what's your take on all this crap?
Well, I think everything in his video is correct. I 100% agree with it. And I hear everything everyone's saying today, and I agree with that as well. The thing that I'm having a hard time grasping, and I can hear you having a hard time too, is what the hell do we do?
Yes.
Everybody I talk to, everybody I listen to, everybody is sitting around saying, what do we do? And the reason is because all the institutions and all the levers of power that would solve the problems are captured. And that's why we talk about, where Yuri Bezmenov talked about it, we're in the demoralization step. We really are. Everybody is demoralized right now.
Yes.
And everybody looks at everybody and says, what do we do? And boy, I wish I could say, well, I know exactly what to do. And I don't. I know that what we need to do starts on a local level. We have to start taking back the institutions. We have to start taking back the power to make decisions. That starts with school boards. It starts with, elected positions. But we don't have that right now. And right now, there's an election coming right up. Right now isn't the time to solve the problem. The time to solve the problem was 4 years ago. So, yeah, I'm kind of in that boat. I'm in the black pill boat right now, and I wish I wasn't, but it's like the die is already cast for this election. I don't think there's a magic bullet that's going to solve this. I think we need to have a reality check and look at how non-leftist positions, because that's what it is. It's not right or anything. It's everybody who's not hard left is all in this little camp that's looking at each other like, what the hell are we doing? What are we going to do? So I think we need to have a reality check, look at ourselves and start coming up with a plan. Not a magic one step, everything's solved plan, but step by step, how do we take this back? Because we've got the reasonable position. We're not doing crazy things, with kids in school, and we're not, taking the entire population of the world over our border. We're saying, hey, let's do reasonable things. That should be the easiest thing to sell in the world, and we're just not doing it.
Right, I agree, absolutely. And of course, we had the random flash of Jamie, because we just need a little bit of Jamie in there, right, randomly in between there. She didn't even see that. She didn't even notice that she popped up on the screen because she was looking at her phone or some shit. But no. Oh, okay. She's writing notes over there. Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to let Hugh go on because he's our guest, and I want him to answer kind of what he has to say about this whole black pill thing, because he's over there behind my chair going, there's things we can do. There's things we can do. Oh, hey, man, I wish I could have one of those, and I really wish I could be smoking a cigarette. I see people out on your patio, man. I haven't smoked in like a week, man. You're killing me over here. All right, Hugo. All right. Talk to Ben about the black pill and what really can we do between now and like November 4th.
Okay. Ben has nailed it. He nailed it. It is not Republican or Democrat. It is people that are not Marxist. Okay, having said that, there's a way to handcuff your congressmen and your senators before they implement this bullshit. The elections are problematic. All we need to do is get the non-citizens, reduce the voter rolls by 30 million people. The balance of power in our election systems will be restored. That's how the Democrats or the Marxists have gamed the system. As far as the black pill or whatever, there is a way. Basically, like I said, handcuffing your congressmen and senators before they basically insert policies. Once the policy's inserted, it's going to be a bitch to change. Having said that, this is a longer conversation, and I can show you how you can actually handcuff your congressmen and your senators before they do anything.
Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna need to have you back to definitely talk about that. And I know Jamie's furiously taking notes over there. So why don't you pop in and weigh in for a second then?
Sure. So I think that the only way that we're getting power back is by being disobedient at this point, and by making sure that, if we disagree with what the powers that be are doing, then we are making sure to align ourselves, meaning all of the liberty-loving individuals, as a voice, saying this is wrong, this is tyrannical, and standing up for each other ultimately. I know that during COVID, all of the lockdowns and everything, I was a single voice in a sea of masks, refusing to wear a mask and refusing to be vaccinated. And if more people would have just stood up, who I had private conversations with, things would have changed. Things would have changed so quickly, because it was a lie. And if you don't acknowledge the lie and you ignore the lie and you continue living your life, then they have no power over you. What are they going to do to you? Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nothing. So that part really was very frustrating. I'm like, it doesn't matter what the lawmakers are doing. Their job is to uphold the Constitution. It's not to be creating laws to bind the people. It's to literally be upholding the Constitution. That's why they take the oath. So really, ultimately, we need to be wiping the bureaucracies off the face of this planet, because they don't belong here anyways. And we need to be focusing on minimizing the federal government to just be taking care of the union, which was its entire purpose initially. However, I think that that's a pipe dream ultimately, because I think that the U.S. experiment has pretty much been lost. But if we have liberty-minded individuals concentrate in one location or one state, then we have a better chance of liberty-loving people having liberty in their lifetime, like the Free State Project and seceding in New Hampshire.
Well, I think that's very, very important what you said, that I think that just simply developing a mindset of disobedience, that it is going to be the disobedient ones that are going to change this world, right? It's going to be the people that just finally stop saying, and we've been so much like sheeple. Here in Maine was horrible with the masking and the stuff, and there were people screaming and yelling at me and stuff. And man, when I walked into the convenience store, it was like people, these little tin pot dictators all of a sudden, because they've got power to throw you out of the store and tell you to put your fucking mask on and do all this kind of stuff, And I was already, but I was there was such a few of us were voices to say, no, I'm not doing this, I'm not going to do this. So I guess the question, I want to toss it back over to Ben for a minute, if all this stuff happens, and I know, Hugo, I'm just going to toss it back for 1 second. I'm going to let Hugo wrap up, because we've had Jeff jump off. I think he got frustrated with being unmuted, and he's an old man, and it's 10 o'clock, and he wants to go to bed. And actually, I'm starting to peter out as well. But we're going to let Hugo do the final talking. But I want to throw it back to Ben and just ask him again, what are you kind of thinking, like, as far as or if Donald Trump does lose, okay, if they cheat, which is I think what's going to happen, they're either going to cancel the election, they're going to kill him, or they're going to, I just don't think they're going to allow him to be president,
They
right?
won't certify the election.
I don't think they're going to certify the election, something, okay? I guess, are you prepared to be civilly disobedient and stop doing things like paying taxes and fucking just shut it all down? I mean, because I think that's what we need, right? I mean, wouldn't you agree that we all just need to say, fuck it? Because if there's not that many of them. They can't literally put a gun to all of our heads and make us send in our income tax checks, for example, right?
That's right. Well, you guys touched on COVID, and during COVID, I watched everybody in my department, as a maintenance mechanic, say, I'm not taking that shot. I'm not going to take the shot. I'm not doing it. Then one of them took the shot. And another one of them took the shot.
Right.
And then the other one took the shot. And they all looked at me and they said, are you going to take the shot? so I'm not taking it. My boss came up to me and said, "You need to take the shot if you're going to keep working here." I said,
my God.
I'm not taking it. And finally, the last day came, and they all looked at me like I was crazy. They were like, "Aren't you going to do it?" I said, "I'm not doing it." And they got rid of me.
Oh.
If everybody who said I'm not going to do it didn't do it, none of it would have happened.
Right.
Right.
But they all still did, because they're all comfortable and they are all scared of what everybody else is thinking of them. Everybody just needs to start hearing from other people that it's okay to think what you're thinking and to believe what you believe. And if we all support one another and nobody feels like they're alone in the fight, it's not even a fight. It's not a fight. It's literally just having a stance on something, having an opinion. Hey, it's okay to have your opinion. You need people around you to basically, it sounds kind of childish almost, but you need people to validate your opinion basically around you. And if enough people get around you and say it's okay, then enough people say we're not doing it, then yeah, you're right. They're not going to all march an army it to us and say, you're doing what you're told. They'll divert and they'll say, well, we're not really going to do that. So it's probably not even going to come down to we're not paying our income taxes. It's just people not participating in the farce. Just, no, we're not doing it. That doesn't mean not voting. We need to vote. Like, if there's even a shot that a vote does something, we have to do it.
I agree with you completely on that.
But we don't have to worry so much about this presidential election either. That's the thing everybody looks at because it's sexy and it's like the most important thing. Janet Mills is the one that has the biggest pull on my life. She's the one that made my life a living hell during COVID. And she's the one that makes the immigration policies in the state of Maine. She's the one we should really be focusing on as Mainers. And not only just her, but everybody's town mayor or city council or town council. Those are the ones that we should really be looking at. Donald Trump being president really also, if he magically was our president, wouldn't solve our problems here. Because Donald Trump's not going to come here and tell Janet Mills not to do what she's doing. She's going to keep on doing. Donald Trump was president when I got fired for not taking the vaccine. He didn't come here on a white horse and save me. We can't look at it like we have to have Trump in office to save us. We need to look at what we're doing here and fix it here. But again, it's all black pill here. I'm sorry. I don't like to be like that. But I guess just find people that agree with you and don't just say nothing. Tell them, like, it's all good. It's good that you think that. And let's all get together and find more people that agree. And then don't just bow and take what they tell you. Say, no, I'm not doing it.
Right. Excellent. Yeah, man. All right, man. Super, man. Excellent. I agree with you, man. That was a hell of a speech and rant, dude. You have to you got to come back on the show, dude. Man, you're a beast.
So we go to a line from Ayn Rand, who's John Galt.
Man, are you gonna do the Hulk Hogan thing now and tear your shirt into, you fucker? Wow.
John Galt.
That was fantastic. Hey, let me bring Hugo in if he's still on the dang phone, and he's gonna be like,
everyone in chat was going wild.
all right, is he Jeff? Jeff left. Jeff went to bed. Are you there, Hugo? All right, Hugo. Listen, I want you to bring us home because we're gonna have some discussion after you get off the phone. Just us peeps. We're gonna talk behind your back after you're gone.
Mute Ben.
All right, I'm gonna mute these other people and then I'm gonna put you on. Go ahead.
What I wanted to say to the young man that just had the rant, he's got a wonderful attitude, and here's if you're not going to get validated, half the country is going to push back against you, and they're going to take the shot. I love the guy. His heart is in the right place. We need more people like that. Bless his heart. I'm 100,000% behind him. But the reality of it is that these congressmen and these local officials will put these policies through, and they'll literally fire your ass if you don't take the shot. Some people will take the shot, whatever. And that is the human condition. I back this guy 100%. There is a way. In fact, a good friend of mine told me a long time ago that people need to get engaged. Most people, for the longest time, trusted our government. And this is directly to the young man that I just ranted there for a minute. At Stanford University just a few months ago, President Obama said, and I quote, "All you need to do is fill the country's town square with enough raw sewage to the point where the public trust has basically evaporated. The trust in our elected officials, the trust in the possibility of truth. And when that has happened, game is won." Right now, we stand at the precipice. Our first documentary was called America on the Precipice. This all started with the fundamental transformation of the United States, and the young man that just did the rant, his heart is in the right place. But we have to deal with the reality that there's going to be 1 billion people out there on the other side that are going to call you a domestic terrorist if you don't take the shot. What you have to do is get engaged, just like this man said, and at the local level, go right to your city councilman, stand up there and say your 3-minute speech. If you try to put these policies through, we're going to push back. And Ben and Jeff and everybody, I can show you how you can literally handcuff your congressman, your city councilman, and everybody before they put these policies through. We'll do that next time. And you've got to get engaged, and literally with sweat and shoe leather, you can reclaim your voice.
Good. Well, listen, I want to thank you very much for being here, and I'm gonna say goodnight on that one to you, Hugo. And I'm expecting that you're going to email me some stuff, and my email is realtruthslinger@gmail.com. realtruthslinger@gmail.com, and anybody wants to email me some stuff
699 viewers.
as well, you can do that. We got 699 viewers.
On
That's
the second one.
Yeah, on the second one. I mean, that's good. This is a false start.
So cool.
And Jeff is still watching from the outhouse, right?
Yep.
So that's probably TMI. But anyway, we had a question from actually Richard. Said that he wants the panel members to weigh in, and I guess that would also be Ben over there, as far as what they think of the election situation. And I kind of gave you my sort of take on things. Okay, and thank you very much, Hugo. We'll be in touch. I'm going to hang up on you now so that I don't get this echo going on. We appreciate that you took the time with all the technical difficulties and all that to do this. And God, I can't hang up the phone. The phone is like a half a second off, and so I think faster than the phone, and I'm constantly chasing the buttons, and I'm out of sync, and hang up the phone. There we go. All right. Anyway, yeah, so, as far as the thoughts on the election, I think is what Richard was asking about on Quire, and saying, what's your thoughts on the election? I don't know. I'm not sure that the Dominion machines are as unimportant. I think all the whole cheating, I think that bringing in all the illegal immigration is a real problem, and I think it's a potential show changer if they all vote and if they all do the thing that they expect the Democrats to do. And many of them are registered, I'm sure, because they get them immediately when they come in, get them a driver's license and all that stuff. But perhaps they're not all going to go vote. But there are still the Dominion machines that I do personally worry about. And I'm not quite sure about how to handcuff the congressman, what he was talking about there. But I guess, my feeling is still, I'm not quite sure if we're actually going to have an election. I got this feeling that they're going to stop at nothing, too. And so that nothing is off the table as far as Donald Trump not being president, because if he gets back in, I think they're afraid that he's going to clean house and he's going to throw people in jail. So that's my whole take. So again, let's toss back to the election, and let's hear your final thoughts, Jamie, on how you think this election is going to go down, and whether it's salvageable and whether it's going to be even remotely fair.
As much of an optimist as I usually am, I don't think that we're necessarily going to see Trump win. Although I think that Kennedy running is kind of a good thing for his campaign because he will detract greatly from the Democrat vote. Just because anyone who's a moderate is going to be considering the fact that Kamala Harris is an absolute insane progressive who just is actually a communist in disguise, and not even really in disguise anymore, pretty openly a communist. So people will vote for Kennedy. I think that Harris will end up voting or end up winning regardless, but I hope.
Oh my God, you're making me sick to my stomach over here. Jeez, I'm not gonna be able to sleep.
I'm just looking at reality. Like I'm looking at weighing what I'm seeing online and the discourse that's going on. I'm looking at the headlines and regular media, and I'm looking at individuals conversing around me. So
yeah, I'm hoping that what's happening is that right now your attitude is because of the hard work of the Democratic Party with all their polls which I don't think are necessarily a representative of what people are feeling, but they're more, I think, influential. I think that's what polls are. I think they manufacture consent, just like what our guest was talking about, in that, I know that they weigh them heavily Democrat. And I think that there's also the possibility there's a whole lot of people don't want to admit, because Donald Trump is toxic to, that there's still a lot of people don't want to admit it. So, but I don't know. I think that if Kamala Harris, if she is president the next day, I think this country is going to just collectively lose its damn mind. And I don't know. And I just know that this project hopefully is getting people together for some reason. What that reason is, I don't know. But to be educated, awake, and to wake others up is it. So what do you think, Ben?
Well, I do disagree a little bit with Jamie. I do think RFK actually pulls more from the Trump camp of voters, not from conservatives, but from anti-authoritarians like myself. I'm not an RFK supporter because of a lot of his other policies, but I think anybody that's not a fan of the COVID policies that can't vote for Trump will vote for RFK, where if he wasn't there, maybe they could slide towards Trump begrudgingly. They just couldn't stomach Harris. And as far as, at large, like with elections, what did we change from the last election to today? As far as policy, as far as anything, we didn't change anything.
No, not
mail-in
a thing.
voting
No,
is still there. Compulsory mandatory vote, mail-in vote is still there in a lot of states where people don't request mail-in ballots and they're getting them in the mail regardless. And a lot of those people are getting mail-in from the last election, which means maybe they're not even there at the address. And a mail-in ballot just shows up where somebody can just fill it out. The states that have ballot harvesting as a policy, where you can just go and pick those ballots up and drop them off, that's still there. Nothing got changed. We talked about the SAFE Act a little bit. That's not happening. They're not passing that. They're definitely not passing that. We're not going to deport 30 million people from the country. And even if we did, the census wouldn't pick that up to change the electoral map for this election anyway.
wow, yeah,
So,
that's a really good. That's a
Nothing's
good
gonna
point.
happen right now that will do anything about that. That being said, Kamala Harris is a superbly unelectable person. She didn't get a single delegate when she ran for president. The only reason anybody thinks that she has a shot is polls and the media saying how much of a savior she is for the country. Nobody in their home is saying, oh my goodness, Kamala Harris, I can't wait to have her be president. or should I say like 1% of the country thinks that. The only reason she can get in is because people don't want Trump in, and because of the policies that got put in place largely because of COVID. Unfortunately, we don't have anything we can do about that. But I will say we shouldn't stop that from getting us to try to talk to people and get them out to vote and try to turn this in Trump's favor. I don't think that we're in the woods where we can't have Trump be president. I think it's actually going to be a pretty close race. I think it's going to come down to a couple of states. And I think if you look at the VP picks between Harris and Trump, you know, Trump's VP pick secures a swing state for him. Tim Walz doesn't secure anything for Harris, and actually it's been kind of an unpopular choice other than for extreme leftist voters. So people in the moderate position may have been hanging towards Harris, I'm not going to say that they vote for Trump, but they may stay home that day instead. So I don't think it's, you know, it's not done, you know, it's not over. I think we have a shot, but I do think we have to look at our situation and say, yeah, we should have been doing something this whole time as far as voting policy. Now is not the time to fix the voting policies. We can fix them now for next election, but we can't do anything about this election. It's just too close. It's too soon. It's right around the corner. So all we can do now is just talk to people, advocate, get people out to vote, and do what we can to try to get this election in our favor.
Wow. Well, you know what? You really brought it home for us there, buddy. That was very succinct, and that was very well said. And, you know, the only correction that I would have is, yeah, we can't do anything about that ballot harvesting, right? Except for, you know, Scott Pressler's been out there hustling in Pennsylvania in these very important 100%. Places, right? And we
need more Scott Presslers. You're 100% correct on that.
Yeah, that was a big blessing. And I think that realistically speaking, that we are finally starting to say, okay, we can't stop the ballot harvesting. We didn't pass any laws to prevent it from happening. We maybe don't even have mechanisms to, you know, try and expose it where it's not supposed to be happening, but at least we can be taking advantage of those same practices. And we're late to the party on doing that, but I'm hoping that might make a difference, right? So, yeah. Anyway, do you have anything to add, Jamie, at this point?
Only that I wish that we had our own Javier Milei here in the U.S. This would be a super easy election.
Yeah. I'm hoping. What I'm encouraging you to do, Jamie, is to not be discouraged. You know, I think I would prefer to stick with Ben's energy over there, in that, you know, this is not grassroots stuff that Kamala Harris has. She's astroturfing. The Democrat Party's astroturfing. She's not answering any questions. Tim Walz is a disaster. They didn't vet the guy. This whole thing about the stolen valor is a huge millstone around their neck. Okay, and you're right, Ben. There are people sitting around going, oh, we just love Kamala Harris, you know, and her cackling bullshit. No, they vote. And you hear people when you talk about them, they're like, I don't care. They would vote for Biden when he was a vegetable because they care about the strategy and the policies that the Democrats have. And it doesn't matter who's in there. It's just the agenda they want to move forward, right? And so, unfortunately, yeah, there's about a third of the people that are going to vote for that stupid, ridiculous agenda. But I think there's that big chunk in the middle, you know, that I'm banking on and I'm hoping on and whatever, and I'm praying on that's going to come through, and that it's going to be too big to rig, and it will overwhelm all this stuff. Now, I don't know what's going to happen if all of a sudden they pull this shenanigans and all of a sudden there's a flood in Fulton County again, and all of a sudden all the counting stops for 2 days, and then, you know, bang, all of a sudden the graph goes up there, and, you know, Kamala Harris is declared president. That's what I'm worried about, guys. That's what I'm really worried about. We're going to go to bed, and Donald Trump's going to be crushing it. We're going to wake up the next morning, and he's going to be lost.
It's going to be a repeat of 2020.
Yeah, I think it might be, except the next question is, what the hell do we do after that? And January 6th didn't work so good. I was there, okay? It didn't work out so good. We can all see that. So the next question is, what the hell are we going to do? And we got to keep getting together and try and figure it out. So I think at this point I'm about done, man. It's 10:20. I think you guys are all toast. We had a great chat tonight. I'm sorry I didn't interact more with the chat. I kind of peeked over there. Thank you, everybody, for bearing with us with all these technical problems. I hope you had fun. I hope you found it enjoyable. Welcome for the first time, Ben. You crushed it, dude. You absolutely crushed it. You exceeded my expectations, and I definitely want to have you back as a guest. Promise me you'll come back on with us.
I will come back.
Good.
Sure. Thank you. It's a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Good. Well, happy birthday to you very much, and we enjoyed having you, and I hope it made your birthday special. That's totally sincere. And Jamie, your smile is infectious, and I love it when you get that grin and you all of a sudden and your cheeks flush up. I just love that about you, man. Right there. See, I love that. I just love it. You turn beet red. I love it. And Jeff, thank you. You know, he's out. I don't know if he's watching, but thank you for being here. And Hugo, if you're still listening, thank you for coming. We enjoyed your film, and we enjoyed talking to you. And like I said, please email me, realtruthslinger@gmail.com. And we want to know, I mean, seriously, we got a hungry crowd out here. And if we can forward things we can actually do between now and then, you've got a group of people that are willing to do it and put their, effort into it. Tell us what to do, right? So other than that, I think I'm done for the evening. I'm toast. I want a cup of coffee. I want to smoke a joint, and I want to pass out and have a cigarette. I'm not a cigarette. I'm not smoking. Have a joint and have a cup of coffee and go to sleep because we got to wake up and do this all again. I had 3 interviews today plus this live stream. And seriously, thank you for sticking with me because I was nervous as hell. And when we couldn't get it working in the beginning, I busted out in that sheen of sweat all over my body. But you know what? We kept pushing through it, and we called on the phone, and we got him patched back in. I think people heard, and I think we got the message out there, despite the devil trying to piss in our cornflakes, and we're not going to let that happen. So anyway, thanks for everybody for being here, and we'll see you guys in the morning. Truth Slinger, this hippie chick over there.
We won't see you in the morning.
We
won't see you in the morning.
No, we won't see you in the morning on Saturday. No, hell no. But we'll see you Sunday at 1 o'clock for church, right?
Night.
Because life is better with church, and you better be here, Jamie. Otherwise, God is not going to be happy with you. My name's Truth Slinger.